Okay. Welcome to Leading Her Way, the show where we reveal the inspiring stories behind women who are making an impact in the world through their business or money making hobby. Today, I am with Karen Berzanski, and she's going to tell us all about her experience as a creative and spiritual coach. Hope I got that right. Karen, I'm going to let you tell us who you are and what you do so that I don't mess it up.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Andrea. It's a blast to be here. I am a transformational money mindset coach and a certified pro EFT tapping coach. And I help Women Plus remove the inner barriers to outer wealth. So those are things like family money stories, generational money stories, the money stories that were birthed from the religious and spiritual upbringing of your youth, all that patriarchal stuff that's programmed into us as women. And I help women to move through that so they can start expecting more, earning more, and enjoying more.
Gosh, I love this. I honestly didn't know we were going to be talking about money, and I'm so happy that you are because that is a huge one. What I want to know is what inspired you to start your business and what is the driving force behind that?
Well, initially, what inspired me to start my business was a car accident. In 2008, I was hit and run over by a car, and that led me on a very deep healing journey. And over the course of those many years, I picked up a lot of tools to help me heal myself from PTSD and chronic physical pain. And it was somewhere around 2013-14 that I decided I wanted to start a business because I wanted to take what I had learned in terms of healing myself and help other women heal in a similar way. So it was really about me trying to bring the crazy and very intense journey that I had experienced full circle. It was a selfish reason. And I wanted to bring meaning to the mess that I had been living through so that what I had gone through wasn't for nothing. Like it didn't sit like a big tumor in the middle of my young life. I wanted to take it and use it rather than having it continue to use me. And that like kind of birthed that was the inspiration for the name of my business, which is called The Lucky Soul, because it's all about how you look at it and it's all about the perspective in terms of your own circumstances. And I'm like, if I can look at my circumstances and what I went through and all the pain that I experienced and think, hey, this was actually, I mean, lucky is, I don't know that I would call it lucky, but like I'm lucky in that I can choose my perspective on how I view it and how and what I take from that experience and how I mold it moving forward to help me create something beautiful from something that was not so beautiful.
Wow. So when I first started my business, I called it Finding the Gift. And so many times lately, I thought, gosh, I should go back and call it that again, because the whole purpose of that is to find something, the circumstances in your life, not that we want them to happen or even happy that they happen, but there
Mm-hmm.
is a choice of finding something that you can bring out of it that not only helps you, but also helps other women. I think that is so powerful. You said something about making meaning from the mess. I'm not sure exactly what words you use, but that's exactly what so many women are doing and can do with the things that have with the circumstances of their life.
Yeah, and not letting those circumstances define who you are as a human being. That
Yes.
no matter what is in front of you, you can take what is in front of you and use it to create something powerful in your life.
Wow. Totally agree with that. And in the next question, I want everyone to know I get these questions ahead of time just so we have just so I have an idea what's happening. Everyone gets the same three questions, and I love to hear everyone's answers. But Karen's answer to this one was really good because the question is, what specific problem or challenge were you looking to solve when you started your business? And how does your business address this issue? And she said, when I first started, I had no idea. And I want you to know, if you're listening, how important that is, because you don't have to have an idea of what you want to do. You just have to know that you want to use your mess to help someone else. So, okay, Karen, I'm going to let you answer that now instead of me talking.
That's all I knew. All I knew is that I wanted to use what I had gone through and make meaning of it. Like that was the only information that I had. And I was like, well, maybe I'll get certified in this tapping thing that helped me so much and see if I could work with people in that way and tap with them on things that they're moving through. Let's see where that goes. So I got certified. Like that was just the first step because it was the first thing that came to mind. But I literally am like, I have no idea what I want to do or where I want this to go or what I want this to ultimately look like, or even if this is going to be something that I'm going to like or enjoy. I just took a risk and I said, you know what? I really enjoyed this tapping thing that's helped me so much. I would like to get certified in it so that I can try it with other people and see if that fills me up, if that like fills the need to, create meaning or whatever. And it's fun and I could make some money off of it. Let's just start there. So I just had one tiny piece of the puzzle and I just started. So I got certified in tapping and life coaching simultaneously. And initially, like my initial thought was like, oh, well, I had gone through a trauma. So I'll probably like want to work with other women who had gone through a trauma, like a specific event to help them kind of neutralize that event in their body so they can, move forward in a more powerful way. And then like over time, I realized after working with some people, and doing it like clunky and weird and just starting and letting myself move through that very uncomfortable process. I realized that, oh, like it's probably not the best idea for me to work with women who have gone through a trauma for lots of reasons. And one of which is I'm not a mental health professional. And the second of which is like, that's deep stuff. And like, I've already been through something very, very deep. And I don't necessarily want to spend my life in that swamp, if you will.
Right?
Like I really like wanted something that was a bit lighter and felt a little bit more fun. So I like veered away from that. And then I was like, oh, like I really love the entrepreneurial space. I'm also an actor and a writer. Let me see if I can gear this towards actors and creative people, like creative people in the industry and artists and people of that ilk. And I moved in that direction for a short period of time. And I'm like, I don't know if this feels quite right. Like I like it, but it's not hitting the mark. And then I was like, well, I like, working in the entrepreneurial space. Like that's really fun. And then I realized anyone who considers themselves an actor or a creative, if they're not also thinking about themselves as an entrepreneur, that's problematic. Because they're really in charge of their own career. Like that kind of career is not just handed to you. You've really got to work hard for it and be the boss of your own life. So I started leaning into the entrepreneurial world, and that led to really realizing that I love working with creative entrepreneurs, many of whom are actors or writers or have, or photographers and just creatively minded folks. And because of what I've gone through and just, how I was like the other things I've been through, I've kind of built up some spiritual muscle over the years too. And I really like the blending of the creative and the spiritual and the entrepreneurial. And I'm like, ooh, this feels like a sweet spot. And even then, like I was like moving into that sweet spot and I wasn't doing money mindset. At first, I was just doing like entrepreneurial mindset, like as a broad brushstroke, because I was too afraid to like really niche it down any further. And I created and launched a course that I wound up scrapping. I ran it twice and then I scrapped it because I was like, this is again, like it's close, but it's not hitting the sweet spot. And then what I realized after launching that course 2 times was that what I really loved about that course was the final bonus module that I put in that was all about money mindset. And I was like, oh, isn't this interesting? Like, I love talking about money. I don't have any shame around it. Like, I love the conversation. It's a hard topic for people to talk about. And then I realized everything that I had in that initial course was actually very related to money mindset. I just didn't call it money mindset. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should move into money mindset and call myself a money mindset coach. And also, like, I have to say, I had used what I had learned through my own healing journey after the car accident. I used the principles of what I learned there on my financial life when I found myself in close to $13,000 worth of debt in 2017. So I knew that what I was doing, like the principles of what I was doing, could essentially work on any area of your life, because it's all the same process of like looking at the surface level issue and then digging beneath the surface to see what are the layers that are actually holding that issue in place and allowing it to grow in your proverbial garden. So I'm like, I really like this money piece. And now I have experience, tapping around money and clearing almost $13,000 worth of debt. And I understand the principles of like how you change your money story and all of the beliefs and stories that come up that are going to hold you back from making more money, and specifically around being a woman and trying to make more money. So what if I leaned in that direction? And so it was only like a year and a half, 2 years ago where I was like, you know what? I want to lean in that direction. And that was insanely scary. But I was like, I'm just going to let my freak flag fly. And again, just try it. And it was like, it's never like a full on, like, I know this is it. And this is my calling and this is my passion. And I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. It's always like, well, I'm just going to try it and see what happens. And now I've been on this path for, a couple of years. And I'm like, I freaking love this. I love this conversation so much because it's integrating what I learned from my healing journey. And it's talking about this money piece that women are so typically like afraid of and don't want to talk about. And I get to incorporate the principles that I learned in the area of money to help women thrive and grow in this way, and in a financial way. But really, it's all about, it's sneaky because it's like, yes, it's the money, right? But it's really about self-confidence and self-value. And what are those stories that you're holding on to from your past that are holding you back from actually doing the damn thing, or starting the business, or taking action, or asking for the sale, or hitting broadcast? It's all of that stuff that I get to explore underneath the surface. That's so exciting for me. So it's been a great evolution over time. And that's basically how I wound up here.
Wow. What I love about this is that you have just followed your instinct, which is what I'm all about. I've been the same way as far as, I started in network marketing, direct sales, selling cleaning products. And it had nothing to do with direct sales, the home parties, the products themselves. It had to do with, that was one step toward me doing what it was I was here, my purpose is here to do. And I've pivoted so many times. And I want people to know, if you're listening, it doesn't matter what your business is. It's like Karen said, she found that bonus module at the end of her course is the thing that really lit her up, and she followed it. That's all you have to do. It's really super simple. And I know for me in the beginning, I thought, oh, you chose this. You need to be successful at this. And so I call it like trying to force the round peg into the square hole. I keep saying it has to fit because that's what I chose. And when I finally decided it doesn't have to fit, I can pivot over to another one. That's when it really became not only more successful, but more fulfilling and
Mm.
exciting and
I
wanting to
think
come back.
that's so important, because I think when we invest a certain amount of time and energy into something, whether it's like going to school for it or like doing a few years in this niche, and it's like, well, I've already built this. And when if you check in with yourself, it's like, if you're not fulfilled, but you've put in all this time and energy, you could just be like, oh, well, I should just keep going. You know, I should just, because I put in all this time and energy. And it's like, no, you don't actually have to do that. You can change, you can pivot. And that was like the thing with my first course. It was called Mindset Blast Off. And I was like, I put in so much time and energy and heart. And like, I really, really thought like this was going to be the thing. And then I was like, meh, I don't know that I like this. And that I wound up scrapping it and creating an entirely new course. But the thing was about the new course was that it was 1,000 times easier to create because I had already gone through the process of learning how to create a course and how to deliver it. So it was a lot faster and a lot easier. And I had a lot more confidence in that second iteration of the course. So I think it's brilliant that you said, you know, you can always pivot and you can always change your mind.
That's the thing about being an entrepreneur. It is your business to do what you
Yeah.
want. So you've already answered this in a lot of ways, but the third question is, can you share a defining moment or experience that solidified your decision to pursue entrepreneurship or shape the direction of your business? So talk a little bit more about the before of this.
Yeah, I think I have never really been suited for a corporate job. I remember even when I was in college, like looking at the buildings and like people going into buildings every day and like into offices. And I'm like, what are they doing in there? You know, like I don't understand.
Right.
They're just sitting in an office behind a computer or like filing paperwork. Like what? Like I don't want to live my life like that. Like that just didn't seem like something I wanted to do. So I mean, initially I thought I was going to be a broadcast journalist because I was like, ooh, that sounds exciting. I love media. And um it wasn't in an office. You'd be on TV or you'd be in a television studio, and that seemed fun. And you'd get to do like field work and talk to people and meet cool people and go to, you know, different events and things. Um, and that was where am I going with this? Oh, so yeah, so that was exciting for me for a period of time. And then I realized that I wasn't cut out for broadcast journalism for a number of reasons. But I knew along the way that I didn't want to work in an office. And I decided not to be a broadcast journalist, that I wanted to be an actor. So I went to acting school, and I'm still an actor, but I was acting for, you know, many years on the East Coast. And I always had side jobs, and I hated all of my side jobs. My side jobs were crap. They were like really terrible side jobs, but they paid the bills. So I think I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. I've always known that like I don't have any desire to climb any corporate ladders. Every job that I was ever in, I never wanted like the next level up, because I was like, that sounds like a terrible job with, you know, more responsibility, more hours. Yes, you're making more money, but what's the cost? You know, I didn't want that. I'm like, I want a lifestyle too. Like, I want to be able to create my own life. I want to not have to ask people like when I can go to the bathroom or how long I can take my lunch or when I can go on vacation. I'm like, I'm not in seventh grade. Like, I don't, I don't want those rules. Like, I just like, no. And then when I was looking at, you know, what are the other options? It's like, well, you might want to start your own business, so you can make the rules. And then I started noticing online in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I started seeing these women who were like coaching and like doing these things and selling things on different sites. And I'm like, what is this about? Like, this seems like an interesting path. And so I started investigating, and then, you know, one thing leads to another, and I go down the entrepreneurial rabbit hole, and here we are. So yeah.
What you just described, I see growth through four stages: connect, learn, grow, and lead. And connect is what you just described. You see other women doing it and you think,
Mm-hmm.
"Ooh, maybe I can." And so part of this show is for that, to give women the idea, "Oh, she's doing it, maybe I can too." So thank you for sharing all of your journey, or a little snippet of your journey with us, because I think your story is going to inspire so many other women to just go for it. I love what you
I hope.
said about not wanting someone else to make the rules. 'Cause I
Mhm.
feel the same way. I wonder, what do they do there? Why? And I've done that piece. I've worked in offices. I've done that. I call it the merry-go-round. Every
Yeah.
day looks the same.
Uh-huh.
And this way isn't easy, but it certainly is worth it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, last question. This is our fun question.
Oh,
And the one that I chose for you, if you could have lunch with any woman, past or present, who would it be and why?
mm,
Sorry, I
that,
should have warned you about that one. That was a heavy one, but
oh
I feel like I have
my.
a good answer.
If I could have lunch with any woman, oh my goodness. Wow. Well, Marianne Williamson is, oh, I just got blurry there for a second. Um, Marianne Williamson is a woman who pops into my brain immediately. Um, and I haven't had lunch with her, but I've had very close contact with her, which is cool. But one of the reasons that I mean, okay, so let me start here. I found Marianne Williamson in 2006. A friend of mine who I met in Bali told me about the book A Return to Love. And I was on the very, very beginning of my spiritual journey. And I went home, I read that book. I was like, what in the world kind of magic was that? I looked up Marianne Williamson. I saw she was going to be speaking in New York. I went and saw her. I had her sign my book. And it was kind of like a spiritual love affair from then till now. And so I have learned so much about myself and like kind of like how to live a good solid life filled with integrity, to still be yourself, and to seek spiritual answers for problems that we face as human beings. And the wisdom that she has imparted over the years, and I've seen her speak hundreds of times. I've seen her, in rooms of hundreds of people and answering all these questions. And what I have learned from her has just been so transformational. But what I love about her, especially now, that she ran for president in 2020, and she is running or was running for president again in 2024. And what I see in her now is this, she suspended her campaign and then she unsuspended her campaign because she knew that she had something so deeply valuable to offer to the conversation in our world, in our nation, and in the hearts of people right now. I just see this indomitable spirit of I am completely detached from the external results. I want a part of this conversation. I know that my voice matters. I have something to say, and no one is going to stop me. And when when I tune into that energy and the self-assurance and the confidence and the knowing that she speaks from, like, that is what I want. That is what I strive and am striving to embody in my own life. And that is the kind of energy that I want to transmit when I am working with people. Of like, it's not about, of course, it's wonderful when the external thing happens, when you make the money, you make the sale, you do the thing, you go to the place and all of that. But it's like, who am I being in the midst of all of this stuff happening, in the midst of, like, I don't know where the pieces are going to fall. I don't have all of the answers. And yet she continues to show up. She continues to share her message so consistently and so deeply and with such conviction. I'm like, that is the kind of life that I want to live. And that is the kind of integrity that I want to embody as I become more of who I'm meant to be in this world. So I'm going to say Marianne Williamson. Sorry, that's a long answer.
Oh, I love that answer. I'm sitting here with goosebumps. Very inspiring. That is the kind of energy that I want to exude to other people. And I know there are so many out there who want that and are so afraid. I love that answer. And I'm gonna look up a little bit more. I've heard of Marianne Williamson, but not don't know a whole lot. So you've just inspired me to learn about yet another woman making changes. So thank you for
Mhm.
that. Okay, how can someone reach you to learn more about your business, your money mindset, what you offer, courses, social media? How do we get in touch with you?
Yeah, so my site is theluckysoul.com. You can follow me at The Lucky Soul on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a free money mindset training that you can get at theluckysoul.com/money training. And inside there, you'll find 3 bite-sized videos on your money mindset and how to figure out what your hidden money programs are. There's also a guided pro EFT tapping session in there, no experience necessary. And there are 2 bonus resources. One is 21 abundance activating strategies, which are things that you can do right now today, super practical, super easy to get in right relationship with money. And also 12 things you should stop doing right now if you want more money. And the other bonus resource is 26 powerful money mantras, which are great as a tool to use when you feel like you're sliding into lack. You can pop these money mantras up on your phone and just move gently into the energy of abundance. And again, you can get that at theluckysoul.com/money training.
I love that, all of it. So if you're watching, go check out theluckysoul.com. It sounds like she has a lot of information there for us. All right. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you a little bit better. And I can't wait to connect out there on social media.
Thank you so much for having me, Andrea. This was so much fun.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.